Happy New Year! And now that we have begun 2013, we can take a look at the highlights from 2012. So here is the year in review of weather information presented by the National Weather Service, Sacramento. We saw quite the spectrum of weather in Northern California last year. This includes very dry conditions during the early months, lightning episodes, and a very active fire season during the summer, and much wetter conditions with tornadoes during the fall. In this video, we will summarize each of these events, and at the end, we'll take a look ahead to see what may be in store for early 2013. We started the calendar year in the midst of a very dry stretch. This graphic shows the percentage of normal precipitation during the month of January across Northern California. As you can see, much of the region saw only 25 to 75% of normal last January. We can look closer at the statistics by focusing on Sacramento's precipitation numbers. Between December of 2011 and February 2012, only 3.10 inches of rain fell. Normally in this time frame, we would expect 11.14 inches. This made the December 2011 through February 2012 period the sixth driest such stretch on record. At this point, it may seem like a distant memory, but interior Northern California did see two tornadoes last spring. Interestingly enough, they occurred only 2 days apart. The first of these tornadoes occurred in French Camp, just south of Stockton on April 11th. This tornado was rated as an EF1. Just 2 days later, an EF0 tornado struck Yuba City. Little did we know at the time, more tornadoes would strike around Yuba City later in the year. If we were to look exclusively at temperatures, summer 2012 would have gone down as uneventful. Sacramento saw 20 100-degree days in 2012, which is pretty close to the 30-year average of having 23 triple-digit days a year. However, summer 2012 will be marked by 3 separate thunderstorm events that occurred within the span of a month. Many Northern California residents were treated to quite a spectacle, with the most impressive of these events recording over 2,000 lightning strikes. Of course, the biggest concern during and after these summertime thunderstorm events is the possibility of wildfire startups. Unfortunately, the combination of very dry antecedent conditions and thousands of lightning strikes led to the most active fire season since 2008. Ultimately, hundreds of thousands of acres were burned with multiple high-impact incidents. This map shows the burn scars that were left behind from the many fires. Perhaps the most memorable event of 2012 was the tornadic outbreak that occurred on October 22nd. Ultimately, 5 tornado touchdowns were confirmed, and this tied the record of most tornadoes in a day from Northern California history. 4 of these tornadoes were rated as EF1 tornadoes. That was also a California record for the most EF1 tornadoes in a single day. On the right hand is a radar graphic with the Browns Valley tornado highlighted with a circle of red. As you can see, there were many supercells lined up that day. After a month with relatively quiet weather, things picked up in a big way once again. A series of warm, very wet storm systems took aim at Northern California in late November and early December. All told, within a 5-day time span, between 15 to 20 inches of rain fell in parts of the Shasta Drainage and Feather River Basin. Most of the Sacramento Valley saw between 3 to 5 inches of rainfall. The last storm in the series was the most potent and overwhelmed many of the area creeks and streams. Just a few weeks later, another series of storm systems brought significant precipitation to the region. This time, however, the storms were notably colder and brought significant snow accumulations as well as low-elevation snow. The city of Redding, at around 500 feet elevation, saw snow not once, but twice in the matter of a week. Storm total accumulations were impressive, with 4 to 6 feet of new snow being measured along the Sierra. The low-elevation snow greatly impacted pre-Christmas travel, with Interstate 5 being closed multiple times and long-duration chain controls across Trans-Sierra highways. Shown here is an interesting graphic comparing the amount of year-end snow at the end of 2012 versus practically no snow at the end of 2011. And now we've caught up to the current time so that we can see how the wet season is doing thus far. At downtown Sacramento, 12.07 inches of rain has been observed since the water year began. This is much greater than the normal of 7.34 inches through December, or in other words, we are at 164% of normal. Another way to analyze precipitation totals is to look at the 8-station index, as shown here in this graphic. This index measures precipitation at stations across the northern Sierra and southern Cascades. At this juncture, the mountains have also seen well above normal precipitation, and we are currently at 187% of normal. Interestingly enough, as of December 31st, we are on pace to break the wettest year on record, the water year of 1982 to 1983. So what's in store for the upcoming year? Unfortunately, at this point, it's hard to say for sure. The official forecast is for us to remain in ENSO neutral conditions through the spring, with ENSO being the El Niño Southern Oscillation. There is no correlation between ENSO neutral conditions and Northern California precipitation. Some years we've been very wet, other years very dry, and an equal number of years we've been near normal. This graphic reflects just that. There's an equal chance of each scenario playing out. However, keeping in mind that we've had a very wet fall and winter so far, this means that we are in decent shape in terms of water storage, even if we suffer through a dry winter month. As always, you can get our latest forecasts at www.weather.gov/Sacramento. We also regularly post to Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for listening to this video. Have a great day and have a great 2013.